welcome to the Free Kick Podcast. My name is Todd. Episode 4 already is here. I mean, time is flying by, and I hope you guys are enjoying these interview series that I'm doing with fans that are fans of the Philadelphia Union, obviously, since this is a Philadelphia Union-based podcast. But today, I'm joined by a guy who, a lot of you guys, I'm sure, have seen on Twitter. A lot of you guys have seen him at the stadium. A lot of you guys have probably seen him on YouTube. This guy seems like he's always catching the goals at the right moment. And I'm super excited to welcome on Jeff Mitchell onto the podcast. How are you doing today, Jeff?
I'm doing great, man. It's rainy here in Philly. Like Kevin Kincaid said, it's always sunny in Philadelphia.
Absolutely.
Even when it's raining.
Absolutely, yeah. It's raining here down in Maryland. Went up to Delaware today to do some Christmas shopping. A little bit disappointing, Try to look around for some Union gear. Cannot find any. I'm like, come on, Delaware. Like, you guys are so close to Chester. What are you guys doing?
Yeah, man, we got to just keep planting the seeds out there with retailers, I think. But, it's coming a long way. I work with a lot of kids at Roxbourough United Soccer Club, and just seeing more kids wear Union jerseys, wear Union hats, and it's amazing to see. So slowly but surely, man. Yeah,
absolutely. Like my girlfriend's brother plays soccer down here in Maryland and everything, and I know a couple of the soccer tournaments that he's went to in Maryland, especially up towards the northern part of Maryland, where it's right there on the Delaware line. I mean, they were telling me there's so many people out there they've seen wear Union gear and everything. So I mean, it seems like it's making its way down here in Maryland, which is great to see.
Yeah, it's everywhere. I work actually in Center City, Philadelphia, and even if it's not the Union, of any MLS gear I see, I always make sure that I acknowledge, because I love seeing people finally represent, soccer in America with American soccer teams.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what it's all about, right? Is just getting the sport to grow into this country and everything. I mean, you see on Twitter, everybody said the Euro snobs. I mean, there's nothing wrong with supporting European soccer, but when you have soccer in your backyard, that's what it's all about. Supporting grassroots soccer, support that local soccer, and the more and more fans we can get to become fans of, one, the Philadelphia Union, or two, just soccer in America in general. I think we're doing a good job on that if we can just keep getting the younger generation to come up.
No, I'm with you 100%. Coaching soccer, it's so important for me to show these kids that there's a soccer team in our backyard, and they could actually play for their hometown team one day, which is amazing, because I coach U11, so all these kids were basically born either the year before or the year of the Union coming into the league. So it's an amazing thing in this city. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was going to save this question for the end, but I mean, if people don't know, you're a coach for Roxbourough United. Could you tell us a little bit about Roxbourough United?
Yeah, it's actually, I started playing there in U8 in about 1987, 88. I just turned 40 this year. So, it used to be Roxbourough Indians. And we merged with Houston Soccer Club and became Roxbourough United Soccer Club in 2016. And so 2020 will make 50 years of soccer in Roxbourough, Northwest Philly. So, like I said, I've been trying to build it. We partnered with the Union. And like I said, getting kids down to the stadium, just showing them that, you don't have to watch Messi on TV. Like, you can go see stars in your own backyard.
Go watch El Seno.
It's great. Yeah. I mean, talk about a guy to watch, man. Kids love that. He's like a human video game. So, and, just the interaction that they can get with the players. I love all the sports teams in Philly, but my son's not getting FaceTime with Carson Wentz or any, and, that's no discredit to them. They're great guys. They're just kind of, in a bubble separate from that, where soccer is so small and, it's just so great because, the players and the fans are really unified.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one thing I love sitting in the river end, but I guess it doesn't really matter where you sit into the stadium, because at the end of the day, the players are going around the stadium giving high fives to the fans, or signing autographs, taking pictures. And you're absolutely right. You don't get that in the 4 other sports in Philadelphia, or let alone any place else in the world. So, I mean, it really seems like with the Philadelphia Union, you have that close-knit bond with the players. And I think I read something on Twitter, or maybe your Instagram, where you said Fabinho or Anthony Fontana, one of them remembered your son's name. And Sebastian Letou, that's what it was. Remembered your son's name. Yeah, I mean, that is awesome.
Took Ben to meet Sebastian Letou in 2010. It was October. He was born in September. So Ben was a month old, and we took him down to meet Letou because he was the chosen one that first year in Philly soccer. He kissed him on the forehead, was just such a great guy with the baby. And like I said, it didn't matter if it was 2 years later, 5 years later, Sebastian Letou always remembered him. And like I said, Seb is just amazing. He always makes everybody feel like the most important person like in the room when he's talking to them. And like, as an adult, like, that's fine for me. But I mean, for my kid to see his face and his reaction, like no kid will ever forget that. It's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely not. I mean, those are moments that you're gonna remember the rest of your lifetime. Not only for you, but for your son. I mean, these players sometimes I feel like they don't even know the lasting impact that they have on these young kids and everything. And that's what it's all about. These lasting impacts that these players are making with the fans, just in general, but specifically the younger kids. Now, I want to dive into how you became a fan of the Philadelphia Union.
Like I said, I started playing soccer at U8, but Philly was a real baseball town, especially Roxbourough when I was growing up. I loved it, but it was always like the hidden secret in the room. Like, you didn't tell your friends you were going off to soccer practice because it was seen as kind of lame. But, I loved it from day one. And then, we never had a team in Philly, so it was hard to follow. Followed EPL. I would watch, games but like it's not the same as having your own team. And then like, when the US, like the women's team started doing good in 99. And, the men's team finally started getting good in like the MLS era when Bruce Arena took the club over there and Seoul, and they did so great and got to the quarterfinals. And then like I heard of these guys, Sons of Ben, and I'm like, they're trying to start a fan club for a team that doesn't exist. And I'm like, typical Philly, like wasn't always the Posidelphian guy that I am. And I was like, these guys don't have a snowball's chance in hell of making this happen. And then you watch that Sons of Ben movie documentary, and unbelievably, these ridiculously crazy, passionate guys got MLS to bring a team to Philadelphia.
Yeah, I mean that is so awesome right there. Just 2007. I mean, can you believe it? I mean, it truly is a fans club. If it wasn't for the fans, who knows if Philly soccer would be there and everything. And so I'm so thankful for the fans that got together, created Sons of Ben, that stayed on this thing since day one. And, they never gave up until they got the team. And now they're still going strong and everything. And what turned into be a couple 10, 20 members and everything's turned into hundreds of members. And you just love to see it.
Well, that's what I think. It's like the parallel, like, even with the Revolutionary War, it was a couple guys that were like, you know what? Like, no one's going to stop us from getting this done. And, like I said, people out like me were out there going, these guys don't have a prayer. And look at, those guys took down a whole empire. And, these guys brought a soccer team to Philadelphia. Like, it's just that Philly spirit, man. It's the ultimate Philadelphia story. It's Rocky in real life. It's like the Sons of Ben are amazing, man. Like, I'll never, they're going to have their ups and downs. People are going to think this and that. But it's like, when you look at that core foundation and what those guys did, just to keep honoring them and still being a member 10 years on. And like I said, hopefully for the rest of my life and my son's life, like I'll forever honor those guys by being a Sons of Ben.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can never take that away from them. And that's, I mean, those people that first started the Sons of Ben fan club, those are the people that can say, I brought the team to Philadelphia. And, I love that, just being a member until the day you die, supporting them, join or die. And I just love the whole mentality of Sons of Ben and what Sons of Ben means to the Philadelphia Union. Now, I'm going to ask you this next question. What are some of your favorite moments from last season? Now, I've been telling people, you can give me games, but you don't have to give me games. Just, it can be games, but your 3 favorite moments, and don't say the playoff game. We'll go on to that later. So,
yeah, I think everyone, is going to pick the playoff game. Last season had this magical feeling to it all year long, and I don't know what it was. We started off, and it was really rocky at first, and I was lucky enough to be named one of the co-fans of the year, the co-supporter of the year, and did that first kick against the Columbus game. And like I said, that game against Columbus, something just switched in this team and the mentality where you just saw the locker room like dig down and really believe in themselves. Cause like once again, like everybody was counting them out. MLS.com was counting them out. People on Twitter were starting to go, here we go, same old Union, or that's so Union. And like something in these guys were just like, this year is going to be magic. And like from that point on, like this team just went out there, and there were so many magical, like late game, like heroics with Ali Bedoya. And like this team was just like, and even those like the God bless the Union and like the digital team, seeing Jim Curtin's locker room speeches, like, man, when he was done talking, you just wanted to go run through a wall. And I'm like, that's what these guys are doing every single game for 90 minutes. And I loved every moment of it. So I'm like, that whole season was just magic for me. Not even just one moment. That whole season was incredible.
No, absolutely. And that's a good point that you brought up. Nobody's brought it up yet. Just the social media team, the digital team. I mean, those guys are the best in MLS in my opinion, and maybe even better than some teams over in Europe and everything. I mean, these guys, every single time they release a new video, I mean, I get pumped for these videos, but especially seeing those Jim Curtin speeches and everything. I mean, if we're feeling like we want to run through the wall, imagine how the players feel. And for all these people that are saying, "Oh, Jim Curtin out," or didn't believe in Jim, I mean, with us seeing these in close in person videos and their speeches and everything, I mean, there's no wonder that the players respect him. And I hope more fans, start to give Jim the credit that he deserves.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, I'll never, I coach U11. I have no background. I'm not going to compare myself to Coach Curtin, but just being a coach, like, you can't control what goes on the field once that whistle blows. Like, you can put it in their brain, put it in their hearts. And like I said, I don't know if you've ever met Jim, but like, you just want to follow that guy. Like, he's a natural leader. And, like, people get mad about the losses. And trust me, I've been there for all the Open Cup losses. And I'm like, nobody hurts more than Jim Curtin in this town. Nobody cares more about the Philadelphia Union than Jim Curtin. And like you said, like, these guys know in their bones that guy is going to go to war with them every single Saturday, even though he's not on the field. Like, his energy is just projecting onto that field. And he's finally, it seems like the locker room is all in now. And like I said, it's going to be incredible going forward now. Like, this team broke that playoff win, that thing that's been hanging over them. And like I said, this is like a whole new era of Union soccer, and I'm so excited for 2020.
Yeah, so am I. I mean, for anybody who hasn't listened to the first episode of the podcast, I kind of gave a little bit of a breakdown, how I got involved with becoming a fan of the Philadelphia Union, how I started the podcast and everything. So I became a fan around 2017 and everything. And you're right. I mean, I haven't been a fan for that long and everything, so I can't imagine what you guys have seen and gone through who have been fans since day one and everything. But just looking back at the history of the Union, I mean, this season seems like it's a brand new chapter, and what a way to close out the decade. Now going into the new decade and everything. I mean, the way that this season went, why can't that be the standard going forward? And I believe it can be.
I think it is, and I'm glad you brought that up with you. Like, this is a big thing for me, because I have not been a fan since 2007. I came in more around 2010, but even if this is your first year supporting the Union, if this is your first time listening to a podcast because you're interested, like, I want people to feel that they are part of this family and as big a fan as, the 07 guys, the 2010 guys. It doesn't matter. Like, if you love this team, like, I want you to be part of this with me. And like, I don't want anyone to ever feel like, they haven't earned it. Whatever, don't feel inferior. Like, come out and support this team. Stand in the Sons of Ben section. I tell people I'm in 136, row H, seats 20 to 22. I'm like, if you don't have someone to go with you, find me on social media and come stand with me. Like, you will never regret coming out to that stadium. You will have the best time of your life, and everybody should get on board now.
No, absolutely. I mean, there's no better time to get on board. I mean, last season was historic, and there's no reason why this upcoming season can and the year after that. And you're absolutely right. I mean, the first game I went to this season, I sat in 117, and it just didn't compare to sitting in the River End. And I know the River End's not going to be for anybody, but if you want to feel atmosphere, if you want to feel brotherly love, I mean, that's where you want to be in Sons of Ben. And I'm so happy that I took that chance, and I was like, you know what, let me go and learn these songs and everything so I don't stand there looking dumb and everything. And after the first game, I knew every single song. I was coming home singing every single song, and then my sister's like, well, I guess I need to go check this out. Then my girlfriend, and then her brother, and so on and so on. And that's what it's all about. And I'm so happy that I took that chance to decide, hey, you know what, I'm going to see what this is all about, and I haven't thought twice about it.
Oh, it's great. And, that brings up another great point that I want people to know. It doesn't matter where you sit in that stadium. Like, it doesn't mean you're not a real fan, not a real Sons of Ben. Like, join the Sons of Ben, buy a membership. If you can't afford to buy a membership, just be an honorary Sons of Ben and, like, cheer your loudest no matter where you stand, where you sit in that stadium. This is for everybody. And I love that the stadium's actually starting to catch on to chants, and they're moving outside the River End. And, I hear people, oh, they do the same chants, and I get that. And one of the things that I want to bring up is the Sons of Ben isn't this like secret society on the top of a mountain. Like, you are the Sons of Ben. If you want a new chant, come up with one. If no one else will sing it with you, tell me, I'll sing it with you. Like, everyone needs to kind of bring their own thing. Like, you can't just sit back and hope that someone else is going to do everything. Like, and I get it. It's hard, but, look at what these guys did in 2007. So if you have that passion to make this better, like, let's do it. If you need me to be the guy backing you, like, I'm 100% on board. If you got a chant, if you have an idea, like, everyone's at the tailgates. Matt Gendizak, the president's there. Like, everybody wants this to be the best that it can be. So, don't wait for somebody else to do it. If you have an idea, and guess what? It might not happen the first time or the second time or the 10th time, but, like, if it's a good idea, it's going to work. You just got to keep at it, man. And that's what this whole thing was built on. And I think it can get better with that same work ethic.
Absolutely. I'm loving the positive vibes because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. I mean, Union Twitter is great. Twitter is great and everything, but it really becomes something special once it's just filled of positivity. And I think, if that's not your middle name, Posidelphia, that should be it right there. So
no, I love it. And, I get it. I'm a Philly guy, and, for many years, I'm not going to act like I'm perfect. I used to go down the negative road, and then I just saw, like, nothing really builds from that. Cause, I don't know, like, negativity, like, just drives people apart. And I'm like, I want people to come together and make something greater. Like, I might be able to do something, but me and you together could do something even greater. And me, you, and 10 other people can do something even greater than that. And I'm like, that's the kind of attitude I want to see, on Twitter. And, like, more importantly, in the tailgates at the stadium. Like, that's where it's going to happen, man. If you walk past 10 people that look miserable, you're not going to be like, hey, man, I want to go be part of that. But when, like, people that are coming to the stadium see this infectious positive attitude, they're like, that's something I want to be behind, and that's something I want to be a part of.
Yeah, I'm glad you actually brought that up because now that I'm thinking about it, when I first went to the game against Toronto this season, the home game, I forget what time I got there. It was like maybe 30 minutes before kickoff or whatever, and my friend and I start walking into the stadium, and then the Sons of Bedlam coming back from their tailgate and everything, marching into the stadium, and they're just pulling fans left and right, and they tap me and my friend on my shoulder. They're like, "Get in, get in, get in!" And I was like, why not? I don't know what I'm saying, but I guess if we have a massive army, then sure, I'll join in. So,
and I love that in a world of, we're more connected than ever with social media, but we're kind of all more, split up into individuals and feeling alone. Like, it's great to have this great family to be part of. And, the great part about the Sons of Ben is, like, there's heart surgeons, there's, TV personalities, there's Joe the plumber. Like, it's a million different great people, every different walk of life, every religion. You got El Parcero bringing the Colombian thing. Like, there's people from all over the world. We have people in Japan. There's a guy, Dan Orlowitz, that lives in Japan and is a member of the Sons of Ben. He actually translated the documentary into Japanese, and, like, a bunch of people joined because of his hard work. So it's just this amazing community of weird people, interesting people, all coming together for a common goal. And, like, that, what's more soccer than that, and what's more Philadelphia than that?
Yeah, it doesn't. And you can't beat that. You honestly can't. Three of my favorite moments, so that I said, was the 3-2 victory on the road against Minnesota, the 3-2 comeback victory against New York Red Bulls, the El Simio moment, and then the 1-1 draw against LAFC. That's when I started to believe that this team could start to make ridiculous noise in the playoffs going forward, because at the time everybody's saying, oh, well, LAFC, everybody just had them checked off, they're going to be in the final and everything. But for us to go into that match, just score in the third minute, to just shut these guys down and everything, I mean, the looks on the LAFC players' faces, they were like, holy crap, like, what just happened? Like, this Philadelphia Union team, they're not a joke to mess with and everything. They're for real this season.
Yeah, that's, and one of my favorite sports quotes, Mike Tyson, I don't know it exactly, but he said, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. And that was, LAFC already had their, in their minds, I think they were booked into that MLS Cup final, and the Union came in and they just punched them in the face. And we're like, we're not afraid. I don't care how expensive your roster is. And, Jim Curtin has a great quote about not caring how glamorous the names are on the back of the jerseys. He said everyone plays for that crest on the front of the jersey, and that's like the Union blue collar work ethic. Kasper Shabilko, everyone knows how to spell that name now, but in the beginning of the year it was all jokes. But this guy came to work hard, and he just really embodied everything it meant to be part of this latest Union team. And I think going forward, that guy is just going to play such a huge role.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And for, we look at it and we're like, I mean, that is a ton of money, but in worldwide soccer and everything, I mean, the amount of money that he's making is not a ton of money, which I'm happy about for a striker that can give us 20 plus goals a season. I mean, I'll take it. So, I mean, Kasper, I'm sure he's going to have another big season next season. And I cannot wait for the season to start. It can't come soon enough.
He had these injuries and, played for Bielefeld and a couple other teams over in Europe. And like people just wrote him off, because he got a couple injuries. And then this year he comes into MLS. Nobody knows who he is here. And then next thing you know, the guy's getting talked about being part of the Polish national team. I'm like, that's an incredible, redemption arc. And like, I'm so excited and I'm so happy for that guy. And I can't wait to see what he does next season.
Absolutely. Now, I'm going to move on to another topic. The latest bit of news this week was not a player signing, not a contract extension. It was the extension of a 4-year contract with Bimbo, or Bimbo, as people like to call it.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
I like I said, people, I like to mess with people about that on Twitter, and people are really hot and really cold about it. But I'm like, Bimbo is this amazing, like I think the second largest bakery in the world and definitely the largest bakery in North America, and their pedigree with sponsoring soccer teams in Mexico and Central America, and I'm not sure about South America, but like it's great that this company wants to invest money into us. And I know people want Wawa and like the cool local things, but I'm like, this multinational corporation sees the union as a valuable asset, and I love that. And you having your cake and eating it too. Speaking of bakeries, like on the away jersey, they're finally going to announce another brand for it, which is fine. Some people don't want to wear Bimbo or Bimbo, and like that's fine. Everyone is entitled to their own thing. But now they have a choice. Now they have an option. The team heard all these people speak and say, I don't feel comfortable wearing this. What can we do? And they went out and they found a solution, and we signed another, what was it, till 2023, or I forget what the deal was.
4-year deal, yeah, until 2023.
That's amazing. And, like I said, they're big in the world of soccer, and that, that's Bimbo. That means that the union logo may be on a Bimbo poster in Mexico and Central America, or even just at their headquarters. Like, that's great exposure. And, it's a business, and that's a great business deal, and I love it. And like I said, you're going to see whatever the new not partnership, but the new brand logo is on the away jersey, so people will have an option to wear Bimbo or Entenmann's or Bobley or whatever they end up putting on there. And Artisano.
And honestly, I mean, whatever they put it on there, I mean, that away kit last season, it's going to be the same one for this upcoming season. That away kit's really, really fresh. So whatever they put it on there, I'm definitely buying another away kit, no matter if it's Entenmann's, beefsteaks. I don't care what it is. I mean, I love that away kit.
Yeah, the logo might not, the sponsorship is bigger than our crest, but for me, it's all about representing that little circle with that union, with that snake, with them stars. That's Philly, and I'm going to represent, it doesn't matter to me what the sponsor is, but, it matters to people. And now they have an option for the home and the away, and we'll see what happens moving forward. Like the union are cutting edge. I have never heard of a team that had multiple, different brandings on a jersey with one sponsor. And I think that's, Tim and all the marketing people are, doing a great job at exploring all these different avenues. And like I said, Bimbo's been receptive to it. So what's not to love? Like, I love it.
Yeah, they've been there since day one and everything. And for all those people that want Wawa, I think Dave Knittel brought up a good point on the last podcast where he said, Wawa is more of a regional thing. You want a sponsorship that's known worldwide. And with Bimbo, you have exactly that. So, I mean, yeah, it might be cool seeing Wawa or something, but at the end of the day, you want the biggest brand that you can possibly get to spread your soccer team around the world. And I think we do get that with Bimbo.
Yeah, I love it, man. And, that's not a knock against Wawa. If they want to come in with a bigger offer, I'd gladly wear Wawa on every one of my jerseys.
Yeah, whoever gives us the most money, that's what it's about.
That's how it is. But I love Bimbo, and super happy that they're going to be around for a while longer.
Absolutely. Now, I want to move on to what are some of the players you expect to be let go, re-signed, and everything. So I'll just go ahead and name off the guaranteed contracts. I've been doing this the last couple episodes, and I'm going to continue to do that just in case people are sleeping under a rock. So we know next season, Brendan Aronson, Ali Bedoya, Andre Blake, Jack DeVries, Jack Elliott, Matt Freese, Ray Gadis, Casper Shabelko, Sergio Santos, Cole Turner, Kai Wagner, Andrew Wooten, Joe Bendick, Corey Burke, Warren Carval, Anthony Fontana, Olivier Mbizo, Mark McKenzie, Michi Galina, and Matt Riel. They're all coming back. Now we'll go to the players that are out of contract, and that leaves us with Colin, Elsinio, and Monteiro. Don't give me your thoughts on Monteiro, but do you see Colin or Elsinio coming back?
I think Ilsinho, I think he'll come back, man. Like, I feel like it's another guy. He was playing for this weird European team in the Champions League, and Jim has a great story about it that I'll butcher, but basically they signed him to be on the roster for the Champions League, and he wasn't even really playing domestically for that squad. So here's this guy that's like this weird utility player for some, European billionaire on his club, and he comes to Philly, and you can just tell that he loves it. And seeing his kids and Fabinho's kids run around and like all this, like the great Brazilians, there a lot of guys like Kleberson are starting to play for or coach at the academies. So I feel like he's got a home here. Colin, I think, offers some depth, especially now that Trusty's gone. And I just want to let everyone know that I do have like a great relationship with the front office and with a lot of people that work there, but I never ask for insider info. I have no insider details for you guys, but I feel like Ilsinho will be back. And I think if they can get Colin for a good price, he would come back as a depth player for sure.
Absolutely. And then I'll go to the options that were declined. That was RJ Allen, Marco Fabian, and Fabinho. Again, I'll say Marco Fabian for a later time. But you see RJ Allen coming back, and I know Fabinho, he'll probably wind up retiring. So what are your thoughts on the contract options being declined for those guys?
Sure. Like I said, I think Fabinho has been working the last couple of years and like just Mr. Positivity too. If anyone should be honorary Posidelphian for life, it's Fabinho. The guy never stops smiling. But I think he'll transition into coaching at the academy and, possibly Bethlehem Steel. RJ Allen, I have nothing against the guy. He came in, he provided depth, but I feel like he may go and they may finally give the young guys like that chance to come up behind Ray Gadis. And, that's my hope, and I said nothing against RJ Allen. He came in, he's a more than qualified right back in MLS, but he's on the tail end of his career probably. And like I said, I think it's time to pull the gun on the youth guys, and hopefully we'll see that at right back and left back with the young guys finally getting the keys to go, challenge for these jobs like Matt Real and and Bizo.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you there. It sucked. The only game that RJ Allen played in was the Pumas game, and I went to that game, and he did seem like he had some quality to him, especially against a mid-table Mexican side who I believe were starting the normal starting 11. So he showed a fair bit of skill and everything, and held his own against them and everything. And I agree with you. I think it's time for Mbizo, for Matt Real to kind of fight for more playing time. I mean, left back is going to be hard for Matt Real, but there's no reason why he can't be pushing for minutes next season to get in those Open Cup games. And I agree with you there on that front. But like you said a little bit earlier, Auston Trusty and Fafa Picault, we traded both of those guys away. Fafa Picault went to FC Dallas for $375,000, while Trusty went to Colorado Rapids for $750,000. First off, what are your thoughts on the trade for Fafa Picault?
Oh, like it's I think it was a formation thing. Fafa is a winger. The guy can play. Like I don't think it was anything personal, and it's stereotypical. But I think with Ernst being German, like it's really an efficient thing. It's not a an emotions thing. Like I think he just saw that Fafa, for the good of Fafa and for the good of the union, having a winger on our roster when we're not playing with wingers just doesn't make sense. They tried to find a spot for him as a forward. And, the guy played his butt off every single minute of every single game. But like I said, in the best interest and for what they were going to get for him, I think that it was a great deal to pull the trigger. And I think Fafa's going to have a great career still. And, nothing against him. I'll be booing him when he's here, but, I'll be shaking his hand after the game and before the game. Like, I think it's going to benefit him and the union.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And especially, I mean, I've been saying this the last two podcasts. Like, Fafa was out of contract, and to get some money for him, I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. And now we can invest that money into different areas on the club. And,
Yep.
I hated seeing Auston Trusty go and everything, a young, homegrown player. But at the end of the day, he had his chances to get past Mark McKenzie, past Jack Elliott, and it just wasn't meant to be. And I do think Jack and Mark are the two better center backs. On his day,
Yep.
Auston Trusty can be up there, but he had chances to prove that, and ultimately it didn't work out. What are your thoughts on just trading Auston?
And I'll say this again, no insider information, but just like my gut feeling is, I don't know if it was a mental block here or, a conflict of interest there with how he saw the team and how he saw himself versus how the coaching staff and Ernst Tanner saw the team moving forward. But it just seemed like we hit this stalemate. And, it seemed like his progression stunted. And, these other, like McKenzie really stepped up. And I feel like a change of scenery will do Trusty good. And, I definitely, he's an academy guy. I want to see him succeed. I have no ill will towards the guy. I think once again, with Jim and with the locker room thing, moving Trusty was good for Trusty, and it's going to be good for our locker room, it seems like. And like I said, it's hard because we love these guys as people. Auston Trusty would show up to every event, and he was there for us, and he's a homegrown. But like I said, for his career path and for us, like, we got a great deal for him. I think it's going to benefit both him and the union. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing that I'm excited about is we got a 30% sell-on clause once Colorado decides to sell him to a European team. So it's like, even though he doesn't play for us anymore, I still want Auston Trusty to play well. If he can get past some of those mental mistakes that we saw, there's no reason in my mind why he can't be a regular in the national team side and why he can't be playing over in Europe.
Yeah, he's a young guy. I think, sky's the limit for him. And like I said, hopefully, I have no inside knowledge, but whatever was, eating at him and like, that mental block for his progression is going to be removed, like you said, and hopefully he will succeed and help our country. And like you said, I could see him playing in Europe. So, I wish him all the best. And like I said, I think this is going to work out for us too. So, you want to see, hopefully, if we could have deals like this all the time that benefit the guys we love and our team in the most positive way. Like, let's do it.
Yeah, and I don't feel, I feel like Ernie Stewart could have done it too. But, with Ernst in charge and everything, I feel like all the moves he's made, he's got it spot on and everything. And I know we'll get to Marco Fabian in a little bit. I'll get your thoughts on that. But, why not trust Ernst? Because he hasn't proved us wrong yet, so.
Yeah, I'm all about that. Like I said, the guy wants to win more than anybody. This guy is passionate, and he's really clinical. So I'm like, I'll trust his eye and, his vision for this club moving forward more than anybody. So in Ernst, we trust. Like, let's go.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hopefully, we can. No, wait. I'm trying to think. Did Sons of Ben have a banner that said "In We Trust"? I don't think so, a tifo. But if not, we need to get that made.
No, Ross makes tifo like 24/7, so he's got one for almost every occasion. If you think you saw it, you probably did see it.
Yeah. But the last player, that won't be back next season is Harris Medunjanin. He signed a deal with FC Cincinnati. And I want to go over real quick Jonathan Tannenwald's quotes and everything, and just give me your thoughts on that. Jonathan interviewed Harris by phone. He said, "I wanted to stay over there, but the sporting director didn't want it. I think even before I started this season, I think he didn't want to play me, but I proved myself every training session that I could be in the first 11, and the coach was behind me," referring to Jim Curtin. "I had the feeling already the whole season long that he didn't want me there because he never spoke with me. I think when you're one of the key players, the sporting director should sometimes come to speak to you." What are your thoughts just hearing that quote from Harris?
Like I said, I've met Ernst a couple times, and he's kind of like a man of few words. And like I said, I don't think it's anything personal. Harris would know better than I do, but I think that he sees them as cogs in this machine, and for this machine to get better, I think Ernst envisions plugging something else in that number 6. And it isn't a knock against Harris. The guy's great. He is at the tail end of his career. With how good the union did last year, if it's time to pull the trigger, like I said, and go with that youth movement or find a younger guy or something that fits Ernst's system better, like why wait to do it? It's better to just rip that Band-Aid off sometimes and go all in while you can. And I feel bad. Like, I love Harris. He was a great guy. He's a great player. I think he'll still do, great things this season. But like you said, Ernst has not given us a reason yet to dispute his decisions and his actions. And like I said, it seems a little cold, but is the business at the end of the day. And, while I'm like an emotional, passionate guy, I'm really sentimental about these players. Like, I think Ernst is just, sees the bottom line, sees the vision moving forward. And I think, he's just going to handle business in a business-like way. I don't think he's going to send roses or come give a flowery speech in the locker room. And, some guys may feel dissed and dismissed by that, but that's how different personalities work. And I wish Harris the best. And I feel like I can't wait to see what Ernst has in mind for that number 6 moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait either. And I'm sure, Ernst has a couple young guys already lined up. It's just about getting the deal done. But I want to circle back to a couple players that I want to get your thoughts on. It seems like these were the four players that most fans were talking about this season. First, I'll start with Ray Gadis. Oh, just what are your thoughts on Ray? Is it time to let Ray take a seat on the bench and let Olivier and Bazo try to fight for that spot, bring in a new right back? What are your thoughts on Ray Gaddis?
I mean, I love. First of all, I love Ray as a guy. His work rate is just unmatched, and he just brings up another positive influence to this locker room. And I don't feel like Jim's just letting him start or whatever. I think one of these guys needs to take the bull by the horns and go challenge Ray and try to put Ray on that bench, like not in a bad way, but I want to see a right back that, like I said, it's a business. I want to see a guy go out there and outwork Ray to the point where, you can't deny putting him in the starting 11 and putting Ray on the bench. But I guess Jim hasn't seen that yet. And, I don't, like I said, Jim wants the best 11 out there every week. So I feel like it's just, I don't know what's going on at practice, but I think someone needs to just, go all in and win that job. And until they do, Ray Gaddis is going to be out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. If anything, if we bring in a new signing for a right back, I'm fine for it and everything. It's the best man for the job. But the one thing you can't take away from Ray, like you said, is he's a hustler. He's a workhorse. He'll give you his all from the first minute to the last kick of the game. And if anything, he's been there for 10 years, I believe now. And he's a great just player for the locker room. He's a veteran the young guys can come and look up to. And just, these younger guys are getting a feel for the league and everything. And any questions they have, Ray's pretty much seen it all. So, even if Ray takes a seat on the bench and everything, there's still a guy who has that veteran mindset that anybody could just come to.
Yeah, no, I think it's important. I think it's Kevin Kincaid that always mentions it. The guy spent like the majority of his career in Philly playing left back because we had no left back. And, I don't know if that stunted his growth and overall, but, Ray did what we needed and he did it as hard as he could and worked as hard as he could every single time. And that's one thing, people can never knock Ray. Like the guy works hard and he does his best. You might think his best isn't up to whatever standard you have, but you can't say the guy's out there, not playing with his whole heart and his whole body. Like in those playoff games, when this team was gassed, Ray Gaddis was running I don't even know how he kept himself going. He was outrunning guys, 10 years younger than him. And, like that heart, you cannot, you can't teach somebody how to have heart like that. And like you said, hopefully he'll mentor, because that's Ray. Hopefully he'll mentor the guy that's going to come up and replace him. But I think it's on the people below him on the depth chart to win that job. And, Ray's not going to give it to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's a professional. He's had that spot for so long and everything, and he's not going to, okay, well, you're the next upcoming thing and everything. No, he's going to fight it out. He's going to make you earn that spot. He's not going to hand the keys over to you. And I feel like Ray's a player, until he can't give anymore, he's going to give it until he can't. So
he is. And like I said, that's the thing. I think he set that work rate benchmark so high that it's going to be a hard job to take. But I want to, the guy that can outwork Ray is a guy I want to play right back for the Union for the next 10 years too. So, it's a good benchmark for those young guys. They need to go out there and get it.
Absolutely. The next player I want to bring up is Andre Blake. We've seen so many, uncharacteristic mistakes by Andre this season. So many bad catches. He was undecisive so many times coming out of his box. Do you think it's time to move on from Andre Blake? Maybe give Matt Freese a chance, or do you think last season was just a one-off for Andre? I just want to get your thoughts on Andre.
It's hard. People want to judge Blake, and rightfully so. It's a business by last year and the mistakes that he made. But this guy's just made us better since he's gotten here, and he's saved us in so many games. And not that gives him, the rate to be the starting keeper next year. I think he's got to go back and earn that. But I feel like he's still got many good years of great soccer in him, and he's not the kind of guy that's gonna, shrink from a challenge. Like, I think he's going to learn. I don't know if he had personal issues going on or if it was just, I don't know what it was, but you could tell he wasn't at 100% this year. But I think that he's going to learn from that and he's going to rise to the occasion. That said, I think that Matty Ice can step up and start challenging him too. But that's great. The best teams have guys. If you have that competition at every position, it's going to make the whole team better from top to bottom. And I still believe in Andre. And the keepers can play late into their 40s, so I think the guy's got a lot of career left. And like I said, I hope it was just a weird fluke and he's definitely saved us more than he's hurt us. So like, I believe in Andre Blake, and like I said, I love that Freeze is going to push him for that position. So I think we're going to be in good shape with goalies.
Absolutely, I agree with you there. The next player I want to bring up is Jamiro Monteiro. We know his loan ended this season. Do you see Jamiro coming back next season?
I have no idea. I think like everybody else, everyone has an opinion on the matter, but I just feel like, something happened after that injury where he wasn't quite his usual self, but I feel like that guy is just a great player to watch, great hustler, great vision. And, I think we would be really good to bring him back. And if not, you got to hope that Ernst has something up his sleeve, but he's the one that brought him here in the first place. So
yeah, how many people can say they knew who Jamiro was?
Yeah, if he can do it once, he can do it again. And, I don't know what all the MLS and, with the loans, there's so many moving parts that I would love to see him back in blue and gold next year. But if not, I think that Ernst is going to be able to pick another piece and plug it into his machine and get us firing again.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I mean, nobody knew who Jamiro Monteiro was. I mean, nobody. And if you say you knew who Jamiro Monteiro is, you're a liar. You're a straight up liar if you come in here and say you know.
I had to go deep diving on YouTube and on Google to find out who Jamiro Monteiro was. And like I said, he lived up to it. And, it's a shame he suffered that injury from that ridiculous challenge. And he seemed a little off his game after that. But even him a little off his game is better than like 80% of MLS.
No, I agree with you.
The guy's a beast. So hopefully he can get back to full health, and hopefully he'll come back here. I would love to see him go again, but if not, you just gotta, in Ernst we trust. Let's see what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Ernst has a good understanding if he's coming back or not. I've said this on the podcast the last 2 episodes where I believe the Union do have the money to pay Mets to make the deal permanent. I do believe they have the money to pay Jamiro. But at the end of the day, I think he's a player who's 25 years old who still wants to test himself in Europe. And you can't blame a player who still thinks that they have the quality to play in Europe. So if they want to go back, I mean, it's better to have a happy player in Philadelphia who might not be as good as Jamiro than an unsettled Jamiro Monteiro who's not giving his all 100% of the time.
Yeah, I agree. If he's got 1 foot here and 1 foot in Europe, it's never going to work. Like you said, you want a guy that's fully committed here. And, it's one of we can speculate all day, but I guess we'll find out what's going to happen soon enough. The Union have a lot of cash, it seems like, in hand. And, if it's not Monteiro, I think they're ready to go find another big player to really push this club onto the next level.
Absolutely. And then the last player I want to bring up is Marco Fabian. Do you agree with the decision to not bring him back? I've been saying this on the podcast, he made over $2 million, but you had the best angle in the stadium. I mean, you captured that moment brilliantly with your YouTube video there. And at the end, I'll let you plug everything. But,
sure.
I think he was worth that $2 million in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. And, like we've read now after the season that it wasn't even Ernst's first choice. So they brought him in. It did big buzz for bringing in, finally a Mexican presence, a Latino presence. I saw so many new faces and new, like a lot of Mexican people there, like rooting him on. Like I thought it was a great experiment. And, it wasn't perfect. You saw flashes of brilliance. But like you said, with Monteiro, it seemed like Fabian had that 1 foot here and 1 foot out the door almost from the jump. And, that's okay. Maybe he believes that he needs to be playing in Mexico or in Europe. But, how can we ever deny that the guy gave us one of the greatest sporting moments in Union history so far? So, for the $2 million gamble, I think it paid off. It brought in new fans. We saw flashes of real brilliance, but it wasn't sustained. And, like I said, it seems like he was, half 1 foot here and 1 foot out the door. So, I'll always appreciate the man for what he did. And, hopefully, I'll never wish any ill will on anybody. Hopefully he succeeds wherever he goes and is happy. And like you said, I want to see the next guy come in and fill those shoes that wants to be here, that wants to wear this badge and wants to be here for a long time.
Absolutely. What are some players that you're looking for the Union to sign? You can give me names. You can give me the characteristics that you're looking for. Take this however you want. Just try to be realistic.
Oh, no, we don't want to be realistic. It's silly season. So I'll be on Twitter plugging Balotelli to the Union and all the other crazy gossip just because it's fun to do in the off season. But I just want to see guys that are passionate about this team. I want to win. So you want winners for sure. But the guys that seem to succeed are guys like Casper that really buy into the city and this town. And, they feel like it's home now. And I love that. Like, look at Kai Wagner, third division, German left back, becomes the best left back in MLS. And like, he just seems like he's having fun. Like when you watch the guys on Instagram, it seems like they love being in the locker room. They spend a lot of time there. Like, I just want that. I want guys that want to push Philly to the top of the heap, guys that aren't afraid of LA FC and LA Galaxy and Inter Miami's, guys that are like, we're going to work hard and we're going to beat anybody that comes here, and we're going to go on the road and we're going to beat them there too.
No, I agree with you. I've given my players the last couple episodes, and I'm not going to dive into it because I feel like by now people are probably getting tired of it. So as we wrap down this podcast and everything, I mean, how can we not talk about this moment, the greatest moment ever in Philadelphia Union history? That is our first playoff win against the New Jersey Pink Cows. What are your thoughts from that game?
Oh, first of all, I love to call them the North Jersey energy drinks, because I think that's even funnier than the Pink Cows. But it was just incredible, For since we started in 2010, this team has told us that this is not a rivalry. Ilsinho beats them in the comeback game. I just brought up in my Twitter the other day how in the Open Cup we went up there, we went down 9 men, we beat them in penalty kicks. Like, there's a rivalry, whether they want to admit it or not. And Marco Fabian put the nail in the coffin and made this thing an official rivalry forever. When we knocked them out of the playoffs, they came in here. It was wet. It was rainy. It was incredible, like the atmosphere. And then something like, people were like, the typical people were, that's so Union, and giving up at halftime. And something in my heart just knew that this was not going to end with us leaving that stadium sad that day. And man, like, that's a game you're going to tell your grandkids about. And like I said, to have that moment with my son and with my wife and all of my friends, I still think about that goal almost every day.
So do I. I mean, you just describing the atmosphere that day. I mean, I'm just getting chills listening to you, because, I mean, I'll go back on a daily to rewatch the highlights from that game, because, that was our moment. Nobody can take that away. You and I, everybody else that were there, we can say we were there. We were at the game. We were there when the Philadelphia Union got their first ever win in the playoffs. We were there in the rainstorm. We sucked it up. We went down 2-0, made it 2-1, 3-1 going to halftime. We stuck it out. And the boys just came out firing and everything. I'm not going to lie, I was one of those guys who were yelling, "Hey, Union, wake the F up," when they were going
everybody was doing that, man. And like, that didn't mean no one was saying, we give up on you, Union. We were just like, hey, let's go, man. We're here. We're ready. Like, let's go. Wake up. And they woke up. Like the Red Bulls, they weren't ready for it. The whole stadium awoke a sleeping giant. And then the Union came out like and played just like with so much heart and so much passion. And seeing the fan reacts and the Jim Curtin reactions, like, it was such a magical moment. And like I said, just filming that, I knew that something special was going to happen. I have the short clip, but if you go on at Jeffrey Mitchell on YouTube, you can see the whole minute 30 lead up to that goal. And it's just like, oh my God, the euphoria when that ball went through, like crossed, took a deflection and just went in that net. Like, oh my God, there was that, like, it was almost like a vacuum of space. Like, the air got sucked out of the room, and then the explosion of that crowd going crazy, and just, oh my God, like people hugging and falling down. And it was just a magic moment. And like, I think that's just the start of it, man. I think next year it's going to get even better. And I can't wait to be there.
No, I agree with you 100%. And I mean, just after Marco scored that goal, the ref blew for for the first half of the extra time to end and everything. And then when the stadium started singing, playing Seven Nation Army by the White Stripes, I mean, everybody was singing "Go Back to New Jersey," and I was like, yes, this is what it's all about. And just for any fan, if you're not sitting in the river, and it doesn't mean you can't sing, like. Exactly. I want to see that every single game, like the atmosphere after the second half begun and everything. I love that energy. I felt it, and I know the players could feel that. So don't be intimidated to sing. If you said, if you have an idea for a song, try to get it started. I mean, shout out to Keystone Ultras for getting the Sha-La-La chant going. I mean, we saw the stadium pick up on that, and that's what it's all about.
And, I know Corey Furlon over there, was one of the original Sons of Ben guys, and he's been trying to get the whole stadium going since, 2010. And it finally happened. You never know what chant's going to be the one that catches lightning in a bottle and takes off. So start that chant. This isn't a glee club. You don't have to have the best singing voice. You just have to be passionate. And like I said, if it's good and if it's fun, people are going to join in. And that chant was, that shows it right there. It doesn't have to be the greatest song ever written. Sometimes it just captures that moment, and that's what makes it important and makes soccer soccer. There's just these special moments where things take on a life of their own. And, from 2 people singing to 18,500 people singing can happen in the matter of, 10 seconds. And it's incredible when it happens.
Absolutely. Now, I have a couple final questions, Jeff, before we end this podcast. One,
Sure.
if someone's debating on going to a Union game next season, what would you say to them to get them to come on out?
Oh, I would say go. And I would say come to the tailgate, man. You pay your money. You go to sonsofben.com. You can sign up. All are welcome. You don't have to bring anything. All you can eat, all you can drink. And it's amazing. If you don't have a friend there and don't know anyone there, like I said, I'm pretty recognizable. Look at me on Twitter. You can find me pretty easily in a crowd. Come over and say, I'm so-and-so from Twitter, from Facebook. Come hang out with my family, man. I want you to be there. And like I said, I haven't had anybody that's come to a game tell me that they don't like it and they aren't coming back. In fact, I have more people that are like, I need to get season tickets or I need to come out as often as possible. So just try it, man. You're going to love it. I promise.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and especially like if you're living around the Chester area, you're living in the Philadelphia area, there's no reason for you not to come out. If you're debating it, come on out. Like I drive an hour away from Maryland. I just got season tickets because after the first game, I sat in the river and I was like, I got to keep coming back for more. I got to come back. And well, here I am. My sister and I season ticket members next season. And I can't wait. And now the next steps to sign up for Sons of Ben and just be there with my brothers and sisters and singing as loud as I can to cheer the boys on blue on.
Yeah, that's what buy a membership. Like I said, if financially you're not able, I totally understand. But a membership, you get discounted tailgates, discounted road trips. Usually it comes with a scarf that's about a $25 value. So I think the memberships are like $30 or $35. It almost pays for itself immediately because you get you get a Sons of Ben scarf. So bam. And then, like I said, with the money you save traveling or coming to tailgates, and like I said, you just become part of this thing that's bigger than yourself. For $35, you get adopted into this wonderful family. And like I said, even if you can't afford it, everybody can be a Sons of Ben as long as you come to that stadium and you're loud and you're proud and you want to support the Union. That's all it takes.
Absolutely. Now, my last question for you, Jeff, is what's a typical match day look like for you? What's your routine? Are you superstitious? Just anything you believe that you can do to help the Union win a game?
Uh, well, everyone has that in the back of their mind where they know that it's silly, but we all do it. And typical match day for me is I usually come up with some cool meme for match day, something to mock our rivals or our opponents for the day, put that up on Facebook to get people fired up, put it up on Twitter to get people fired up. And then my family and I get ready. We go down to tailgates. My son, Ben, who's actually named Benjamin Franklin after the Sons of Ben, my wife, Rachel, we go down to the tailgates. If the game's at 7, the tailgate will start at 4. So we'll go down at 4. We'll eat, we'll drink, we'll hang out. Sometimes we'll walk across to the Larimer, which is this great brewery that just opened. Sometimes you'll see, the Union Youth Academy training in the fields next to where the Sons of Ben tailgate is. So we go down, we hang out with our friends. We eat, drink, we get merry, we get rowdy, and then we go into that game, man. And we've been living for this. I've been taking my son since he was a baby. My wife's a convert. She hated soccer on TV and came to a game, and now she's as diehard as anybody. She gets more fired up than I do now. So it's a great time. And like I said, I've been bringing my son since he was an infant. He's 9 now. And we've just shared some of the best experiences in our lives in that stadium together. And I love it, man. Like, come down, bring your biological family, bring your extended family. Or if you're by yourself, come join our family and you'll love it for the rest of your life.
You absolutely will. And I can't put that any better than what you just did, Jeff. But real quick, where can you tell people to find you on social media?
Sure. I mean, Jeffrey Mitchell on Facebook. I will accept anybody that's a fan of the Union. At Father Ben on Twitter. The YouTube page is, I think, Jeffrey Mitchell. And, just find me. I love interacting with everybody. And like I said, if you have questions, if you're alone and don't have anyone to go with, hit me up. And, I always welcome people with open arms. I want you to be there. I don't care if you just started liking the team or if you liked it since it started, like, you're as big a fan as I am, and I want you to stand there and sing with me at every game.
Absolutely. And if you're not following the podcast on social media, all that jazz, you can find us at Free Kick Pod on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, wherever you get your podcasts by searching The Free Kick Podcast. The Free Kick. And if you can't find it that way, then just type in The Free Kick and then my name, Todd Lewis, and I'm sure you'll find it that way. But thank you so much, Jeff, for coming on the podcast. I'll put the word out,
man. We'll get everybody on this podcast. And I just want to say thank you for all these great podcasts out there. And I love that in the union community, the podcasters are not trying to big time each other or one up each other. The more union content, the better. And I love seeing that you guys all support each other, and we support you. So thank you for bringing in even new audience members for this club. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love it too. And I love just, you just started going to games, like I said, this past season and everything. And I'm trying to get myself out there and meet as many fans as I can and everything. And the people that I have met, I mean, everybody's been wonderful and everything. And I love that. I mean, that's my mindset, not going against other union podcasts, because at the end of the day, we're all there to support this team that we all love and everything. We bleed blue and gold. And it shouldn't be about, oh, I have this many followers, I have this many listens and everything. No, at the end of the day, we're giving coverage to this team. We're trying to get more fans to follow Philadelphia Union, follow soccer in America. And it's people like you, Jeff, that have that positive mindset that's going to encourage just so many more fans coming out to watch games this season.
No, man, it's not people like me. It's people like us. Let's do it together, man. Let's make this the best it can be.
Absolutely. And I have nothing else to say, other than my name is Todd, and this is The Free Kick Podcast.